everyone. This is Kripa Anand, and welcome to the She and Success podcast, a national platform spotlighting powerful women who are shaping the future of business, leadership, and impact across Canada. Here we bring you real stories, bold journeys, and conversations that inspire growth, visibility, and success. Today, we are discussing how to build a brand that stands the test of time and technology. In 2026, the challenge for every founder is moving beyond aesthetics to find a clear message that creates a genuine human connection in a world increasingly filled with automated noise. Joining us today is Sarah Gencarelli, co founder and creative director of Wild Idea Co. An award winning creative with two Cassies and ADCC Gold recognition, Sarah has worked with global giants and local startups alike. Coming from a multi generational legacy of designers, she specializes in blending big picture strategy with practical execution. She is here today to help us navigate the intersection of AI, creativity, and the power of a clear brand story. So, before further ado, let's welcome this very special guest. Sarah, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting today.
So am I. Now, Sarah, you've built Wild Idea Co. from the ground up, right? Navigating the same uncertainty and multi
Yeah.
hat reality that many of our listeners face every day. Let's start the conversation by understanding what lessons have you learned building Wild Idea Co. from scratch? Go ahead.
Um, it's funny because as I advise a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs as well, and they have a similar question.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that overlooked a lot is people expect there's a to-do list, but really what starting and building a business is about, well, like resiliency and being able to navigate the ups and downs, being able to handle unpredictability. It's kind of the nature of being in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And they can also overlook the value of just like the nuts and bolts of running a business, which is just relationships. Our
Hmm.
business was really much very much built on existing relationships, forging new relationships, getting
Yeah.
out and networking, shaking hands. Not so much a marketing strategy where we're doing paid ads or focused on, mastering every channel. It was really about just getting out into the real world and meeting people and letting the one-to-one interactions kind of lead to business and help you establish trust. Um, so I would say
Mhm.
one of the big lessons in starting and growing Wild Idea Company to what it is today is just that is that growth can come from kind of old school relationship building. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be as flashy or complicated
Yeah.
as we tend to think it is.
No, this is a very refreshing answer, specifically in the age of tech and AI, right? That
Yeah.
genuine old school connection has worked its way out. And also, I love the name Wild Idea Co. Where did you get this idea from?
Uh, well, my husband and I, we've had a lot of business ideas over the years.
Uh-huh.
He's an entrepreneurial family, and um, I guess our business idea was to help people make their business ideas happen. And every business seems to
Hmm.
start as one day being a wild
Yeah.
idea. And I
Yeah.
think you just have to kind of have the courage to make it happen. And that's really what separates, people who talk about starting a business with those who do is you just kind of have to do it. Um, and we figure things out when we do it. You don't have to have it all feeling perfect, like you're totally ready. You just kind of have to dive in.
Right.
Um, so that was the idea, that it starts as a wild idea, a spark, and then
Yeah.
with the right structure and consistency, you can turn it into something real.
Beautiful. I love the name play with that. And very well articulated, I'd love to also talk about balancing, branding trends with long-term brand clarity. So, from your extensive experience, you worked with so many people on so many different
Mhm.
things. What branding trends should businesses stop chasing today?
I think just trying to be trendy and looking out the window and looking at what everyone else is doing to feel
Hmm.
like okay, I have to be doing that too.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the number of brands I see or founders I meet who are like, I want to be the next this brand, or I want to look like
Hmm.
this brand. And like, why do you want to be a copy of someone else? Like, you want to be
Exactly.
your own
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say just stop chasing trends and aesthetic and really take that invisible first step, which is focusing on who you are and who you're for and what sets you apart. Like, those
Yeah.
are really the most important things. Is like, you have to understand who your audience is, who your ideal customer is, and then understand how you like what you can offer or how you can do things that make you different and provide more value in a way that the others aren't doing, and then lean into that, and tell that story, and weave that into your branding, so it's people can see it and feel it, and weave it into the customer experience as well,
Yeah.
so they also feel it, and then talk about it. Word of mouth and reviews do, like, we're in an age where like that matters more than anything. Like, I could tell you
Yeah.
anything about my business, you're not going to take it at face value probably until you've read some reviews and asked others
Of
what they
course.
think.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just, again, it comes down to like relationship building with, like, growing your network, but also with your clients and customers. Is like, this is running a business is all about maintaining positive relationships.
That is indeed a great reminder because oftentimes, specifically as founders, we try to do so many things ourselves that we get lost in what actually matters and what doesn't, right? And
Mhm.
specifically when you are opening LinkedIn at the end of the day, you're seeing so many people doing so many things and talking about
Yeah,
the same thing, and you kind of feel left behind, right? But as
yeah,
you said, it is very important to keep reminding yourself of what works for you personally, right? There's nothing in chasing trends, it's not going to take you very far. And choosing depth over the trend of the week, it ensures that your brand builds a foundation of trust that doesn't disappear when the algorithm changes overnight.
yeah, exactly. If you're like a trend like everyone else is doing, then
Yeah.
you're just asking yourself to have more competition because you're going to be
Right.
comparable to everyone else. So
Right. Yeah.
it's like, why would you choose to blend in when you
Hmm.
are
Can't
should
stand
be
out.
asking, how can I stand out? Mhm.
Beautiful. I love how aligned we are on this conversation, Sarah. Uh, Now, we can't have this conversation without mentioning the human part of it, right? The human intelligence part of it. Let's look at preserving the human creative edge in the AI era. So,
Yeah.
how do you suggest can businesses use artificial intelligence without losing their human connection?
Well, I would say like use AI as an extension of your team, but not as your team. So it's a tool. It is meant to help you speed up execution and scale, be
Hmm.
more efficient. It can help you, like, I use it every day. It helps me, um, just be more productive. I use it as a conversation, and I ask it to help me think. So ask it to prompt me to solve problems in different ways, but it's not solving the problems. It's just helping me, with my creative
Yeah.
process. But really,
Right.
the ideas are like, they have to. You need a human to
Of course, they
kind
need to
of.
come from within, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the ways that I kind of like to look at AI, artificial intelligence, is more like collective intelligence. And this kind of goes on the previous question about following trends. Is what AI is really good at is
Hmm.
looking at what the most probable, the most likely answer will be based on what's already out there. So if you're satisfied with, the first result, it's just giving you what's already out there. It's not giving you any original thought. It's just giving you the common answer.
Yeah.
So that original thought has to come from you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's I look at it as an efficiency tool, not a replacement tool.
Definitely not. I think if we are using AI to, just do the repetitive tasks and we
Yeah.
are conserving our brain energy for the
Mhm.
strategic thinking processes, right? I think it's a beautiful combination that works well. And building on what you've said, Sarah, I'd like to give a special message to all of our listeners now, specifically to all the founders watching. In 2026, AI is your assistant, but your empathy is your edge. Sarah
Mhm.
recently spoke at the Ottawa Ad Club on this exact topic: how to
Mhm.
embrace technological change without losing the human soul of your work. Wild Idea Co. is helping businesses navigate this shift by integrating AI into marketing workflows in a way that prioritizes real human insight. If you are tired of generic messaging and want a brand that actually moves people, visit wildidea.co. Don't just use technology to do more. Use it to be more human in how you connect with your customers. Now, coming back to you, Sarah,
Thank
uh,
you.
you know, I'm loving this conversation, and I would love for you to be back, hopefully, for an in-person episode that we are doing.
Oh, that
And I can't wait to dive into more
was,
discussions with you there as well. But coming back to the conversation, now I would love to explore building a strong brand without massive budgets, because if we talk about small businesses specifically, one thing that they are often tied on is the revenue, the money that
yeah.
they're counting each dollar that is, going out of their pockets, and rightfully so. But from that perspective, what branding mistakes do you think that small businesses make most often? And how do you suggest that they should maintain that premium luxury brand feeling without investing too many dollars into it?
Well, I think the first place a lot of founders start is visually. They're like, I need a brand and I like the look of this. I like this kind of a logo. I like this color. Um, and it can be exciting because when you pull out a business card, if you're still pulling out business cards, or when you're pulling up your website, which is more likely, or your social feeds or whatever, it can be very exciting to see your brand come to life. Like that's when it can make your business feel very real and you can be
Mm-hmm.
really proud of it. But when you rush into that, especially when you rush into paying someone to do that, what you can find out is like just skipping the strategy, skipping the thinking, and having a reason for your choices can actually be more costly. So, sometimes we'll meet people who are like, oh, I don't want to pay for the strategy. I just need a logo. And sure, I get that. Like I understand that money is tight when you're starting a business, but you have to also realize that you might be redoing your website 3 times
Mm-hmm.
if you're not getting right.
Right.
You might be refining your messaging. It might just not click. You might end up looking like everyone else, and because you're just trying to kind of piece it together. So, and this can be free. This pre-thinking, like we are in the age like where AI is a tool that you can use. And what I would encourage you to do is open Cloud, open ChatGPT, and start a new chat and say, you are an experienced brand strategist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm launching a new business in this category. And then what you're going to ask it to do is ask the AI to interview you and gather all the information it would need to help guide your underlying strategy. So this is a bit of a hack. And if
Right.
you have no budget, and that's fine. Like I'm not saying everyone needs to knock on our door. I think this is a tool that everyone should be able to use and that kind of evens the playing field a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically what will happen is you tell the AI tool that you're using to ask you each question one by one to gather the information it needs to do the best job of answering your questions.
Mm-hmm.
And you can work through your strategy that way. You say you've assigned it a role, so you are an experienced brand strategist. You say, interview me, ask me questions one by one to help me lay the groundwork of strong strategy that will guide my decisions in brand identity design. And then you're going to use it as your advisor, as I need a homepage for my website. What's the, based on, what I've told you, what key messaging do I need on there? You also want to make sure that you're talking about things like your ideal customer target. You can get
Mm-hmm.
into like, is this unique in the category? Like really ask it all the questions that you'd be asking a brand strategist. And if you don't know what questions to ask it to give you the questions to ask.
Right.
So it's like you can really use it as a tool to help you build as you go. And you can basically get, and I'm not saying that AI does just as good a job as an experienced brand strategist. It won't, because you
Of
don't have
course.
that human
Yeah.
edge and that experience, but it's better than nothing in like 95% of cases, 99%. And it will give you at least a foundation to say, okay, I'm choosing this kind of a logo because I'm
Mm-hmm.
choosing this palette because, my website is going to be organized this way because like you've got some
Mm.
thought behind it instead of just, you know,
aimlessly doing what you
like
think
diving
that you,
into things and
yeah.
iterating and redoing your website. Like the number of founders I talk to who have redone their website like 3+ times and paid for it 3+ times, it's like unfortunate.
So definitely, it is indeed a very interesting time to become an entrepreneur, right? Because your
Mhm.
skill set has eventually come down to your prompt engineering part of it, right?
Yeah,
That's amazing. And as you said, Sarah, realizing that branding is about how you make people feel, right? Not
yeah,
just your logo. It allows you to compete with much larger companies through better storytelling. On that note, I'd love to do a little time travel with you very quickly now.
yeah.
Imagine if I were to give you a time machine right now and we were to go 5 or 10 years into the future. When you get out of the time machine, how exactly do you envision artificial intelligence changing the branding game globally?
Well, it was an interesting subject that came up at the Ottawa Ad Club because we had creatives at the table on the panel, and we also had media folks.
Hmm.
And, you know, I'd say the media folks were like very excited by the ability to like mass customization. So the message that you're getting is super tailored to who you are and your online digital behavior.
Yeah,
Um, and it can be very specific, but there's no, it doesn't mean that like you can use AI to, tailor these messages and, deliver up ad sets that will, be that niche. But the thing is, if people are suddenly getting this is a random number, but like 100 more tailored, super focused ad messages a
yeah,
day, they don't suddenly have 100 times more money to spend. They still have to choose one. And if
right.
everything's AI generated and everything looks the same and everything's hitting the same points, it's nothing's going to stand out. It's going to be just like a sea of so many offers. Um, and I still only have my spending power, right? So you still need this human to basically be the tastemakers, the coming down to like the face-to-face relationships or like the excellent customer service. Like all of these things are going to matter more than ever because there's just going to be, I think, this is just my prediction, even more noise that's tailored to.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to suddenly pay more attention. I'm just going to get better at tuning things out, and not taking it as like people are wise to what's AI generated too, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah, of course.
it out and you don't relate
So,
to it as much.
yeah. Well, you painted quite a very interesting picture there. The future definitely looks very interesting. And as I said, I can't wait for you to be back for an in-person episode where we can dive into deeper details about the future and also Sarah's mind and how she's able to do what she's able to do so seamlessly and making it look so beautiful and easy.
Thank you.
Sarah, before we let you go, if there's one final piece of advice that you'd like to give to the founders who are overwhelmed by the changes in marketing and AI, if you could whisper one thing into their ears, what would you say and why?
Well, I think we fear everything until we understand it. That's a
Mm.
famous quote, and I can't tell you who exactly says that. And the way to overcome the fear is to just dive in and learn and understand. And a quick little anecdote I can give. My mother was a graphic designer, and she's an art director in like the 70s, 80s. My grandfather was in the Mad Men era. Her
Wow.
dad. Um, and I remember like we had art studios growing up. Like it was just we were in the creative space, exposed to that. And I remember hearing stories of when like design software, computers first hit the market because my granddad used to do everything by hand. And even my mom in like the 80s, they would like
Uh-huh.
handwrite. Like anything you saw in an ad was handwritten, placed. They used Letraset. It's like you can Google it. It's like a very cool kind of like gone
Uh-huh.
long gone art. But everything was assembled by hand. Computers came
Hmm.
in, and there was like kind of like a mass exodus of creatives who are like afraid to kind of adopt this and change. Maybe not afraid, but just kind of holding
Hesitant or
grasp
yeah.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of see that on LinkedIn is like there's creatives who are kind of holding tight to the existing way of doing things.
Mm.
it doesn't mean you're any less creative for using new tools. It's just you have to be creative about the
Mm,
ways you use the tools. And I think having heard that story growing up of when the computers came into the art scene, um, it kind of squashed my fear because I'm like, you just kind of have to see the new tool and adapt
yeah.
and use it, and don't fear the unknown. Kind of lean into it, and make it an advantage because suddenly you're fluent in it. Um, and those who were more fearful maybe would get edged out, or maybe they'd find a totally different niche and path that lets them continue to do what they want to do. Yeah, I guess that's not so much a whisper as a full on chat, but
No, no, I'm sure, these are words straight from your heart. This is a candid advice, right? So this is a golden reminder, I'd say, that, as you said, adaptability is the most important skill in any creative's toolkit, right? Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure having you on the podcast, and we can't wait for you to be back.
okay. Thank you very much.
All right, that was Sarah Gencarelli from Wild Idea Co., a masterclass in clarifying your brand message, embracing AI without losing your soul, and the power of staying human in a digital world. To all the listeners, thank you so much for listening to the She and Success podcast. To learn more about how we are supporting the women entrepreneurs beyond the platform, visit the She and Success Foundation at sheandsuccessfoundation.ca. And lastly, a very special thank you to our exclusive shipping partner, Purolator, for their ongoing commitment to supporting women entrepreneurs and helping them build, grow, and lead successful businesses across Canada. I'll see you all in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.